Fade in.
Our fans will be thrilled that Hayden Christensen will be returning in the role of Darth Vader. This will be the rematch of the century.
G'day guys and welcome back to Raging Ryno. Alright, we've got some more bad news coming out of Lucasfilm, coming out of Disney, and this time it's coming directly from Kathleen Kennedy. She's dug her way out of her little hole and she's come up to say hello to everybody after her contract renewal a couple of weeks ago. I think it's pretty safe to say that the rumours that have been coming out recently in regards to either Kathleen Kennedy being fired or of course the reversal on that and then she's staying, or the news about Gina Carano, or of course the news or the rumour about them decanonizing the sequel trilogy and moving forward with the Mandoverse and all of that garbage. I think it's been a really bad couple of weeks for all of those people. I mean, the first thing that we had was Gina Carano's little announcement that she's doing a Joe Biden or a Hunter Biden pretty much documentary movie. I don't think she's going to be getting a job back at Disney anytime soon. And then, of course, we had Kathleen Kennedy's re-signing of her contract for the next 3 years. Now, we're getting confirmation that they aren't really going to be decanonizing anything. It very much seems that they're moving forward with their Kennedyverse. Some people might want to call it the Mandoverse. Some people might want to call it the Favreauverse. It's all the same thing, one in the same. But it seems that we've got some confirmation that they're going to be moving forward with the sequel trilogy and the story that they pretty much told there, or the lack of story that they've got there. Kathleen Kennedy teases that there are plans for the sequel trilogy characters. Certainly, those are characters we're not going to forget. They will live on, and those are conversations that are going on with the creative team as well. So that's just a little quote from a little interview or article that came out from the Empire. And of course, this is it here. I'm not going to read through the entire thing. I mean, it's pretty short, but we're not going to read through it. Anna, that Star Wars girl, clipped out pretty much the two quotes that mean anything. And she says, KK's statements from the Empire article about Ewan and Hayden and the sequel characters. So before we actually do go into this, the article is pretty much more about the Obi-Wan show, the Mandoverse, the Kennedyverse again, one in the same, and of course the Book of Boba Fett. So this is sort of a little publicity that they're trying to put out to get the Book of Boba Fett going and the Obi-Wan show going. But let's have a read of what she has to say. Lucasfilm boss Kathleen Kennedy opens up about the emotional reunion of McGregor and Christensen on set as they slip back into those iconic flowing robes. The thing that was most exciting was being on set and watching the two of them get excited, said Kennedy. They hadn't seen one another in a long time. I was surprised at just how incredibly emotional it was for each of them to find themselves back in these roles. And just realizing how important Star Wars was to each of them. It was the beginning of their careers. Now, I sort of disagree there in regards to it being the beginning of their careers. I think Hayden Christensen had definitely done things like Jumper. I think before, I'm pretty sure that was before, but he'd done other roles as well. And Ewan McGregor had done things like The Island, and he'd actually done a few roles. So it wasn't really the beginning for them, but yes, I can see that, you know, maybe put them in the spotlight a bit more through the Star Wars trilogy that they were involved in. Now, there's nothing too much to that. I've talked at length about my thoughts on this Kenobi show that they're coming out with. I think it's just nostalgia bait, and of course, we've had the announcement of the rematch of the century. Whether or not it's actually going to be a rematch, we'll see. I've got another video coming out really soon, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about that and what people are thinking in regards to the rematch of the century. But let's move on. This is the most important, I think, quote or statement out of this entire article. Mandoverse shows it sounds like there may be more stories to come involving the crew introduced in the most recent sequel trilogy, which wrapped up on the big screen with The Rise of Skywalker in 2019. Certainly, those are not characters we're going to forget, teased Kennedy of that third generation of Star Wars heroes. They will live on. And those are conversations that are going on with the creative team as well. The Force is as strong as ever, which I completely disagree with. I would say Disney Star Wars as Force is definitely as strong as ever. They've been able to entice some of the older fans back and really get them engaged in this world that isn't really Star Wars. And of course, they haven't got everyone back, but they're definitely, I think, winning with the state of The Mandalorian, the hype behind the Book of Boba Fett, and of course, with the Obi-Wan Kenobi show. So I think it's like I said at the beginning of the video, it's been a very, very bad week, or last couple of weeks, really, for the rumor mill. None of the rumors have actually come to fruition, and we've now got another 3 years of Kathleen Kennedy, another 3 years of the Kennedyverse. And look, even if you had have taken her away, even if she was fired, even if she was removed, they're still moving forward with this Kennedyverse, this Mandoverse, as some people call it. So look, to me, this just confirms that they're moving forward with the sequel trilogy. There's going to be no decanonizing of it. There's going to be no using the world between worlds or the veil of the Force to try and get around it and try and decanonize it. I don't think there's any of that going on. None of it. Kathleen Kennedy is there to stay. The Force is female. And, you know, when we're getting things like The Mandalorian, I've mentioned this before, when we're getting things like The Mandalorian and it's being praised the way it's being praised and being held up as this ultimate Star Wars story, when it's really not, and people have got the blinders on or they're just paying attention to the jangling keys, I think that means that Disney's won. I don't think there's any winning and losing anymore. Like, there's no actual winning. They've won. And they're moving forward with what they've created. Anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And we'll see you in the next one. Later, guys.